Hey guys, Kim here with Like Tesla. So I am here with Matt, who you may remember from our last video when he took delivery of his Model 3. But he's had the car a week now, so we're gonna find out a little bit more about it, the good, the bad, and the ugly.
Such an interesting comparison side by side with the Model S. I can't describe it more than just saying it. It's just a tighter version. So I can definitely feel the size difference. But I still just the zippiness, just the instant power, all that, the same stuff that's been with every Tesla since. It's still there.
At Tesla, we don't make slow cars. Okay.
And it's just a joy to get around. And I can't say it's my favorite door handle. It's not bad, but it's not, I just like one that you pull. Right. It seems more ergonomic when you pull it. I happened to watch a video with a Lamborghini, and they have the exact same mechanism. You push and you pull. Yeah. So maybe they modeled it after a Lamborghini, which isn't such a terrible thing. But nonetheless, it's not necessarily my favorite, but it's one of those probably smaller things I get used to.
Yeah, do you think that maybe for people that are not coming from a Tesla and they're used to the traditional door handles, that maybe it'll be easier for them? Because you're coming from an S, or you're used to, you know, I think Franz called it was kind of like a handshake where they come out to you. Yeah,
and I'm used to Model S, you just had a handle and you just pulled on it. And just grabbing something and pulling is sort of natural ergonomics. Right. This is like that two-step process. It's not hard, but still, it's a little getting used to. It's like push and pull. Yeah. So it's like I'm pulling it open with my pinky almost all the time. Yeah. And so, so just kind of, you know, different and interesting.
You said it still feels pretty zippy because this 0 to 60 is what, 5.1, and you had a P85 and it was
4.2 officially from Tesla.
So do you notice that? Are you noticing that when you drive around?
It's been very minor. I definitely notice it, but it's a very small thing. In other words, I'm probably more pleased with how it performs than disappointed. I thought it would be even less than it is.
Oh. Well, that's great.
So I expected it to be less. The interior door handles, I actually like the buttons. I noticed at night, these little things are not very illuminated. They're just very light. And so I've had one or two people actually reach and pull the handle. Even though this is kind of an invisible handle, that's like where people think the handle is. I mean, there's I think some cars where that handle is there. Yeah. And so they just, you know, they don't see anything here to pull, and so then they reach down here. And this is almost more natural, certainly more natural than hitting a button to get out. Now, I like the button, but it's also just a matter of getting used to it. It's different. The people mentioning all the fingerprints and stuff like that, I would definitely concur with that. I wish they would have just continued this right down here, even as an option or something, because that would look really natural. I remember the Model S offered that at some point in time, to have like the Obici wood down on the bottom. It
does feel like you should just kind of go right here, but it's the thumb. So that's, I don't know, it's a little counterintuitive for me.
The vents, I am extremely impressed with the vents. Of course, I had no idea like what that's going to be like. It sounds kind of weird, some nebulous slit in the dash that all its air comes out of. And what I've noticed is it feels like sort of everywhere. Like instead of this thing blowing on you from here, it just sort of feels like it's everywhere. And it's very comfortable. I've really enjoyed it. I've not had to make one adjustment on the dash. You know how you can customize it? Front trunk. Yeah. Okay. So in my Model S, I always left my tennis bag here, and it is a little bit smaller, but it still fits my bag. You know, it's not a small tennis bag. I mean, you know, but it's not huge. Yeah. So no cabin noise issues that certainly no difference. If anything, it might be a hair quieter. Like it seems like in the S, if I sort of listen stereo off and I listen for it, I can almost hear the motors going. It's just that sort of electric hum. So it's obviously it's not noisy. But in this car, I can't even really discern any kind of like that electric hum per se. What I've noticed with autopilot, when you change lanes, it's fairly abrupt. Yeah. It's not just sort of a, you know, it's kind of like, and you're there. Yeah. So it's a little more abrupt than I thought. It's fairly accurate, but not, you know, it's probably about 90%. I wouldn't call any of this stuff deal breaker. It's more just like constructive criticism, potential enhancements. It's nothing like, I mean, the car is just without doubt, it's just fantastic. And so, but nothing is perfect, and so there's always little things that you can do. I'm thrilled to death. It's fun, it's new, it's different. It feels extremely quality. You know, I couldn't be happier. So I just miss the S in terms of, you know, the size and the sleekness and whatnot. But overall, I love this.
That's strange.
Oh no, I've never
anything
seen
quite
that.
like that.
I haven't seen that. I didn't notice that.
Have you ever seen anything like that? That is a unique seatbelt design.
It is. Kind of get used to it over time.
Yeah, and I'm already used to it, but I'm explaining it to other people now.
Right.
As they're getting in the car, how do I get in the car?
Yeah.
Okay, well, you gotta do this, and you gotta do this.
Oh yeah.
So
We deal with that with the X all the time. People are trying to figure out how to open up the wings, and we're like, just let us do it for you.
I would love to see, especially since this doesn't have a sunroof, it's the little things. I got my sunglasses just sitting out here. You know, I'd love it if there was that little sunglass thing.
Yeah.
It's kind of like a cup holder. It's like, it's not a big deal, but it's a super big deal because you use it absolutely all the time. I think the only surprising thing is at night, when I'm driving at night, you know, in the day I see the dash, I know where everything is. At night, it's all dark, you know, on top of a black, you know, black car, black dash. And it's weird, you just have this void in front of you. No lights, nothing.
Yeah, that would be interesting.
One thing that I loved, because my kids would use it all the time, anybody sitting in the back seat, was the heated seats. And I was under the impression that when you're paying for the higher package or whatever that you know that has a heated seats, you actually get heated seats all throughout. I think, like I said, laptops and this kind of thing, but just not you.
Yeah, I won't fit in there.
We're still gonna have to try.
I'd say the kids, but then
The kids
you know,
might, but
there's
that might kind of
There'll be
get into
controversy
like
in the comment
there's
section.
some bad things, you know, going, especially the 17 kids these days. You know.
I think if I just showed them they could fit in there, that might be a bad thing because then they'd be like, I want to go play.
Yeah, you don't want to do that. When I was ordering the Alcantara, the roof is not. It's just sort of a kind of a standard roof, and so it's not ugly by any means. It's just nothing special. And that Alcantara is really beautiful, and so I was kind of looking forward to that. So I was a little surprised that I didn't get that. I never got a memo about not, you know, that's changing. As far as dislikes, one thing that I'm really bummed they don't offer, because so many new cars offer it these days, is the 110 volt plug-in.
Yeah.
I wish they had that somewhere. And I'm like, it's an electric car. There's plenty of electricity in this thing, you know. I mean,
I wonder if they're saving some of these little things for the S and the X to add as upgrades, so that you really see, you know, when it gets its big refresh, you'll see that big difference.
I do look very much forward to the all-wheel drive. I have another reservation that I've put off, specifically waiting for the all-wheel drive, at which point I may sell this and get that all-wheel drive version, because even on non-rainy, icy days, it just grips better. If you're turning a corner, you know, and you hit it, it's going to keep you on the road, versus, you know, possibly fishtailing or something like that. You know, Elon and Tesla maybe shouldn't promise quite so much, or the time frames that they do, but as I was saying earlier, you know, this car, do you guys recall exactly? I think this car was supposed to be out in, as I remember originally, it was originally slated for like late 2019 with volume production in 2020. Then they had the big release, and then with the phenomenal groundswell of orders, they, you know, Tesla actually moved it up 2 entire years. So all of these pundits like forget the fact that, okay, yeah, they may be a little behind, but they're really 2 years ahead. And in reality, I was supposed to originally get mine. The estimate was between November and December.
Right.
And I got mine in like the 3rd to 4th week of January. That's a 1 month slip.
Yeah.
That's like not that big of a deal. We're all the way out in Georgia. You know, so we're a week away. So really, they finished the car like 2 to 3 weeks of January. Took another week to get out here.
And it's a car that's never been done before. So.
And they're also trying to do, you know, gobs of them. They're not trying to make 10,000 of them. They're trying to make hundreds of thousands. So I mean, so I don't know. It just seems like I won't make excuses, you know, for Elon or for the projections, but at the same time, I have a lot more grace because I've already got my car, and it's awesome. Right. And it's not. I thought it was going to be waiting 3, 4, 5 months from now, and it's here now. I'm so happy with the armrest thing though, because I don't often have 3 people, and it's just more comfortable when there's
Right.
2 people back there and you can put your arm down.
Yeah.
So that's really enjoyable.
Yeah. Everyone likes extra cup holders too.
Yeah, extra cup
Thankfully.
holders.